Welcome back. It's a Monday edition of Rick Corey Sports Special. This time, it's Loren Montgomery from Bixby, and he's brought to you by Sunrise Cafe at 101st and Sheridan. I'll tell you a lot more about them in just a couple of minutes. But first of all, this guy's the guy who's sunny side up because he had a heck of a performance, 49-7 over a previously unbeaten Moore team. You and I were discussing a little bit on a second ago before we started. That's a difficult place to play for a lot of different reasons. So just tell me how your team did such a good job of overcoming that to play so well.
Well, fortunately for us, it was our second time to travel to that side of the state. We played Choctaw a few weeks ago, and so our kids had gotten somewhat of a routine. But yeah, it's a difficult place to play at Moore. It's just the environment. The stands are so far away from the
Mhm.
field with the track and big sidelines and those things. And I know our band was in a competition, so didn't travel. And just kind of to be honest with you, really flat environment. So I was proud of our kids for coming out and bringing some energy. Played great defensively at times, played really good offensively, and hopefully are starting to grow up. We're still needing to figure some things out, but we got into some game situations that I think we'll learn from.
All right, well, let's play off that. What do you think they need to figure out the most right now?
Well, I think probably being efficient and offensively, we need to be efficient on first down and take what the defense gives us and understand that 4 and 5 yard gains are great. And that way we're not second down and 10, second down and 15, and things like that. And so that's going to be important. And I think we got into a 2 minute situation right before half and didn't get any points out of it and where we should have. And so it's a good learning experience for us. I think as far as 2 minute drill goes and manage the game, managing the time and clock and some of those things. So good learning experience. Hopefully a young group. We're continuing to grow and continue to take the next step.
You mentioned that take what they'll give you. I mean, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl ring that way, and nobody would say that he's the best quarterback who ever played, but he was willing to do that. Take check down routes, take the plays. Why is that so hard to get into kids these days? Is it just that mentality if I can make the next big play?
Well, I think so, and everybody likes the big play, and then particularly the way we've been offensively the last couple of years, we want the big play, and we want to be super explosive, and certainly we do. But at the same time, we got that way, or we get that way by being efficient, and being able to move the chains, and get ahead of teams in that way to open up your deep shots and your big throws and that type of play.
One thing about your team is you've played a lot of games where at the half, it's like this time, it was 21-0 at the half. And that's a good lead, but then it ends up being 49-7. Second half team, are these kids just a better second half team? Why is it you seem to explode so much more then?
Well, I don't know. We've talked about that. We've talked about starting fast and coming out. And traditionally, we've been a very fast starting team, and so I think we're still trying to grow up and figure out what we're good at. And I think maybe just the success that we've had in the second half this year has somewhat lended to a couple of things. One, us kind of figuring out how the defense is going to play us because a lot of times we get different game plans.
Sure.
And then also, I think it's still very, very hot outside, and our conditioning level has been real good, and I felt like better than some of our opponents.
Yeah, that makes some great sense there. I want to get to your defense here in a second, but first I want to talk about a Presley because you had another Presley that makes him smile right there. And much like the Selmans, you're just trying to get him to have more babies. Braden Presley, 3 carries, 75 yards, had a touchdown run and a touchdown pass, and that's part of that explosive you talked about. Tell me about the double pass.
Yeah, so Braden's always been a guy, and in fact, really all of the Presleys, if you look at it, I think maybe they mentioned in the Tulsa World that he's the third Presley we've had that's completed a pass, and so all of the Presleys, or maybe even passed for a touchdown, have been able to throw. They're just good athletes. They're good at football, and so Braden's always hanging out at the field, throwing, catching, staying after practice, and those things. And so the last well, all year long this year, and then last year we even had some double pass and trick plays and things of that nature in for Braden. And so we had the opportunity, and it was just a magnificent throw and a magnificent catch, and kind of reminded me of the first play of our 2021 state championship when Braylon opened up with a touchdown pass on the first play of the game.
Yeah, that's tremendous. We've mentioned Braden before when I've talked to you both on the radio and here on YouTube, but go ahead and describe his skill set as opposed to the other brothers. I know they're all somewhat alike, there's no question, but how's he a little different?
Well, he's built different. He's big. He's 6'1" and close to 190 pounds. He's a longer athlete, longer arms, longer legs. His top end speed is Presley top end speed. It's really good. But maybe because he is a little bit larger, the stop and go maybe that Braylon, the quickest one, had he's not like that. He's more of a smooth runner and a glider, and so when we do that, we can get him out in space like we did the other night on a speed sweep and a couple of handoffs there, and he can really get going. And so he's an excellent defensive back. He plays every snap at corner for us. He returns punts for us, and then as the season progresses, his role in offense continues to grow.
Yeah. I would imagine considering the Presleys, the mom and dad, and of course the sisters who are great athletes, I bet pickup basketball at that house is tough.
Yeah, yeah, tough family all around. I know. I joke around with all the boys that Brandy is the best Bixby Spartan Presley athlete that we've had, and as everyone knows, she went to Ole Miss and then finished at Georgia and is just an exceptional state champion sprinter.
Yeah, no question. Now let's flip it over defensively. You had 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, got points off both of those. So obviously this defense played really well. Was it a great matchup? Did they just have a great night? Little combination?
Yeah, no, our defense continues to grow, and Coach Flowers is learning the identity of our defense. Coming back, we only have one returning starter on defense, and so those guys have to mature and get some playing experience. And I think we're getting good play out of our front seven guys. A big question mark probably headed into the season. The defensive line continues to grow up. We're not real big, but we've got some strong physical guys up there that play extremely hard. And when you can do that, that can make up for some size. And then in the back end, we've been pretty good at covering people and being able to play some man coverage, which allows you to load the box just a little bit more. So defense is growing and figuring out our identity. We've got a long way to go. I know Coach Flowers, our defense coordinator, would tell you, but got great play out of them on Friday.
Get into those 17 new starters that you were just talking about in a second, and also Edmond North. First, let me tell you thanks to Sunrise Cafe for being our sponsor here for Coach Montgomery. If you've never been to 101st and Sheridan at Sunrise Cafe, it's on the northeast corner right next to the Sinclair. I was just looking at the menu today. I was talking to Randy Robbins and his staff out there, who are fantastic, by the way. If you want traditional breakfast, they do that. So if you're a bacon and eggs guy, God, I love bacon and eggs. Yeah, you can go do that anytime you want. But trust me when I tell you to try the Okie omelet. All I'm going to say is it's everything you would normally see in an omelet, topped with, smothered with country gravy. Something, if you look at Loren, he hasn't had much of. But as a former well, we're both offensive linemen. We've had it in our past, and it is spectacular. It's 101st and Sheridan. They're open 6 a.m. to 2 o'clock every day. It is the Sunrise Cafe. And thanks again to the folks there for sponsoring Coach Montgomery. When's the last time you had a good thing of gravy, Coach? You probably don't eat a lot of gravy, do you?
No, but I love it. And in fact, I've had a couple of omelets with gravy all over it and hash browns in it. And in fact, last time I was at the Sunrise Cafe, I had an omelet and it was delicious. I didn't have the gravy on top of it. I didn't have the country omelet, but I'm going to have to put that on a checklist when maybe I'm having a cheat day.
I would think that would be tremendous. All right, let's get into Edmond North. They got beat by Deer Creek, a very good Deer Creek team, 55-24. And I've not seen them yet. I've seen Santa Fe. What do you see on Edmond North?
Well, they're very talented. They're well coached. Coach Whitson does a really good job. He's in his second year there. They run a 3-3 scheme on defense. We'll get into some 3 high safety stuff that's kind of in vogue. They've got a lot of guys that play extremely hard offensively. They like to spread you out and get the ball on the perimeter. They've got a quarterback that can scramble and do some things with his feet. And so they started the year off really well. They beat Edmond Santa Fe and one of the Putnam City schools, and then as you mentioned, played a very good Deer Creek team who's undefeated this year. Last week and fell just a little bit short, but a group that's been in every game, a group that has gotten a lot better just since last year, and is going to be a tough contest for us.
When you mentioned the 17 new starters, and we've talked about it a couple of times, is that group coming along faster than you thought, about like you thought? Because it certainly has come together for you, it seems, especially lately.
Well, yeah, I mean, we always expect that each week that we play, we're going to get a lot better. And, I know some of those things are cliche, but when you have a young bunch, you don't just see that big improvement from week one to week two, which we did. We expect to see it each and every week. And so there are just little things that we see our guys doing that tell us, yeah, you know what, he's getting better. Okay, he's been in that situation before, so now he's making that play or he's taking that correct step, and so we're seeing those things, and so we like the progression, but we're still making some mistakes that young teams make that we've got to get better at.
You got to be happy, though. I mean, when you get those guys and you know that they've been through your system and you know what you want them to become, but then when you see them starting to become that, it's got to be one of the most satisfying things in coaching, isn't it?
Well, that's what our program is built around. We're going to be the best program in the state at developing student athletes, and that's through weight room. That's through playing more JV games than all of our opponents. And so a lot of our guys that are playing have played a lot of football, but now they're playing in super meaningful games on Friday nights at a higher speed, and so hopefully that maturation process goes a little bit quicker because of all that development that we've given them in our program. So that's what we enjoy as coaches. We like taking these guys that are, in eighth grade players. And then when you look at it, you got guys playing at a high level like Brooks Dixon, a senior first year starter from his safety spot, doing really, really good stuff. And then, on the offensive line, you got a couple guys, Jacob Hamlin and Beckham Hooper, that are senior first year starters that have developed and matured in the program that are really doing good stuff and continuing to get better.
We all love stars, but my favorite people are first year senior starters, program guys that held bags and did everything you ask, and then they get their moment. God, I just love to watch that.
Well, we live in a world of instant gratification, and so they're my favorite kids. Are kids that endure and stick around the program, even though they might not have that initial success or initial instant gratification that we're all used to having nowadays. And so they grind, they commit to the process, and then they end up, being on the field in a meaningful role. And I mentioned those three guys, but we have quite a few that are in that position this year doing really good stuff that I'm super proud of.
So what's Club 225? I'm assuming that's a weight room thing.
Yeah, so it is a weight room thing, and it's something that we started years ago. It's for our student athletes and coaches. If you're a coach, you can't even wear this shirt unless you can clean 225. But it for our student athletes that can clean from the ground to a full squat, 225 pounds. You'll see the stickers on the back of the cars driving around town. You'll see the t-shirts, and it's something we celebrate with a banner in our weight room. And in 2010, we had 8 student athletes at Bixby High School that could clean 225 pounds. And last year on the 2023 banner, there were 99 student athletes. All those, of course, weren't football players. I think probably about 85% of them were football players, but we had 99 student athletes that could clean 225 pounds at Bixby High School. And so we talk about strength culture a lot, and we talk about making it to the fourth quarter in games because we feel like we're going to be stronger and tougher and can pull away from teams because of that strength culture.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Well, Loren, always a great visit, and congratulations again. And remember, next time you got to get the gravy on the omelet.
There you go, Rick. I appreciate you and Sunrise Cafe as well.